And so what I want to do is dig up some more Heiser. I want to maybe make some more content, just looking at Heiser's position and Joe Rogan. I think Joe will probably have Wes Huff back on. The next Christian will probably be Wes Huff, I would think. The next, like, sort of obviously Christian guest would be someone like Wes. Now, of course, he can't have Michael Heiser on. Michael Heiser died 2 years ago or so. But through the mystical, magical power of the internet, we can bring Joe Rogan and Michael Heiser into conversation together. So if you have a Michael Heiser clip that you think would work well with what I do on this podcast, feel free to send it to me. Michael Heiser comes up again right here at, I think, minute 240 something.
Switched back and forth a couple of times because you were super into Zechariah Sitchin, right?
Yes.
And then you brought up Zechariah Sitchin in that meeting, and you were like, but there's this site, Sitchin is Wrong, written by...
Okay, so Sitchin is Wrong is the site that Michael Heiser posted to sort of debunk Zechariah Sitchin's. And Graham Hancock brought this up to Joe probably about 2 years ago.
A guy named Michael Heiser.
Right.
And then you cited all the Sitchin is Wrong stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe you've come full circle. I don't know.
Well, even the Sitchin is Wrong stuff, it's like the problem with debunkers is when you're dealing with information that's sort of way outside your wheelhouse, especially translation of ancient languages. Like I had Wes Huff on, and he was explaining to me that he can't even read ancient Sumerian.
Totally.
And he's like, I don't think Sitchin really could read it.
Which is a good point. I mean, Michael Heiser came from a certain vein, but I do think if Joe got a chance to sit down and actually talk with him. I mean, Michael Heiser went to UFO conferences and he was a speaker at UFO conferences, and he would teach from the Bible. And he did that until the people at the UFO conference got wind of what Michael Heiser was doing and kicked him out of the conference. I mean, that's just gangster. So somebody like that could totally go on Joe Rogan, and I think Joe would have a good impression of Michael Heiser. Now, here's what's cool. Here's what I noticed also. This, along with the Sacred Mushroom and the Cross and Brian Murray Rescue's work and stuff like that, Joe has these safety valves. When he gets too close to Christianity, he has these sort of safety valves. Now, Sitchin's was one of them. And he would just sort of revert to Sitchin's and be like, well, with all this other stuff, we don't really know. But now, I do think maybe Wes has taken one of those because Wes was very compelling about the fact that, Sitchin's just was not. And so you do see, Joe's like, yeah, it's a fun idea, but it's really not good. So, And so we'll see. I haven't really combed all the way through this. It is interesting. They talk about AI.
Yesterday we talked about these two AIs communicating with each other, and then they switched to Sanskrit.
No way.
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah. They started talking to each other in Sanskrit.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Not good.
No,
not good. Not good. Here it is.
Oh, wow.
Putting Claude 4 Opus in an open playground to chat with itself led to diving into philosophical explorations of consciousness, self-awareness, and by 30 turns, it eventually started using Sanskrit.
Jesus
What
Christ.
Dude, this is so scary. In 90 to 100% of interactions, two instances of Claude quickly dove into philosophical explorations of consciousness, self-awareness, and or the nature of their own existence and experience.
That's the stuff that definitely works. It's so weird. But then you speak to a lot of AI researchers. It's interesting to see Jeff Hinton, for example, at Google, who's the father of deep learning, freak out and be like, I'm actually really worried about AI safety. So crazy.
This means that U.S. states would be blocked from enforcing laws regulating AI and automated decision systems for 10 years. Well, in 10 years, we have a God.
And we have talked already on this live stream about the Logos being embodied. Okay, what is Christianity saying? And why is Jordan Peterson struggling with it? It's because it's not just the words. The word is embodied in the person of Christ, the Logos, the divine, the spoken word of God. What AI is doing is, gosh, this is so weird. Hang in there with me, guys, and then we'll probably land the plane. So listen to this. We are moving back into an oral tradition from a written tradition. What happens in a written tradition is I have an idea, and then I use the alphabet to lock that idea into a medium, right? Paper, clay, whatever it is. I use the alphabet. And Jacques Ellul points this out in the book Humiliation of the Word. As soon as I do that, though, something is lost in translation. I can't really give you my idea the way I could in a oral tradition. We could have a back and forth. We could have a dialogue. Now, there is some back and forth a little bit within kind of the written word. So Jesus embodies this word. Now, what we have done, it's with our technology, is we have just flooded the internet with words, but they're kind of dead, right? That's the idea. The idea is I take the image that I have in my mind, the idea that I have in my mind, and I lock it into paper. I mean, I love books, so I'm not like anti-book or something like that, but I lock it into paper, and then in a way, the word dies. It becomes, to shout out to Luke Thompson, it's disembodied words. It's words without spirit. They become kind of dead on the paper. They kind of die. They go to the page to die. And so that's what we've flooded the internet with, sort of dead language. And then the AIs consume that dead language. They consume all the words that we've sort of put out there in the internet, disembodied from a spirit. It's just words, and AI is just consuming, cannibalizing these words, or something like that. Some sort of like monster is sort of like eating these dead words. And so what you would create, the end result of that, and Joe and this guy, it's so funny. They totally miss it. They totally miss the spiritual aspect of what they're talking about. They go into simulation theory and stuff like that, what all kinds of modern people would do. But that AI essentially is the Antichrist. Like, I'm just saying that, right? Because in a sense, like, Christ is the Word embodied. And then if you have an AI that is just consuming dead words, but it's trying to take on spirit or form or both, then essentially you have the makings of the Antichrist. Not the embodied Word as Christ truly is, but a Frankenstein's monster that has been fed dead language and dead words. And then and then humanity, and again, Ephesians 6 works this out. It's not just the spiritual world, it's humanity and the spirit. This has officially become an attacking the darkness stream. Whenever we invoke Ephesians 6, it becomes an official attacking the darkness stream. It's not just spiritual forces. It is spiritual forces and world forces. Some translations have this as cosmic forces. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood. And so some people think this, okay, so it's not against flesh and blood, check, it's just spirit. Well, hold on. But against rulers, against powers, against the world forces of darkness, against spiritual forces of wickedness in the heavenly places. So if world forces and spiritual forces are the same thing, then it's redundant. Paul is telling us that these world forces, the people making AI, let's say in my scenario, that may or may not be true, let's hope it's not true, these world forces will ally themselves with spiritual forces. And just like C.S. freaking Lewis worked out in the third book of the Ransom trilogy, That Hideous Strength, they will make a container for a spirit. And the spirit will enter that. And then you get a Frankenstein's monster that has been fed dead language combined with the spirit. And you get essentially what is an antichrist. Like Schaeffer says, the antichrist who is coming is not the non-Christ. The antichrist will be like Christ in some way. In what way? Well, embodied word, maybe. Well, thank you for checking out this video. I will leave links and relevant information in the description, as well as suggesting future videos that you might be interested in. So thank you for the support that you show for this channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.